What is up, guys? Misha here from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to another video. And today is going to be our weekly altcoin forecast. And before we even get into the altcoins, as always, we'll kind of review what happened on Bitcoin, and then we'll jump into the altcoins. We'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll also take a look at CRV, because we had somebody in one of the previous videos that was asking questions about CRV. I know this is a coin that we've spoken about before on the channel, and we were really bullish on that coin. So I kind of give you guys an update on what I'm thinking on CRV, and and then we'll wrap it up for today's video. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and let's jump right into the analysis. All right, guys. So right now we are looking at Bitcoin. This is a weekly time frame, and we're going to be taking a look at the commitment of traders report. I'll do a brief recap of what has happened since last week. We're seeing that the longs are now, well, not now, they're still above average. The shorts are still below average, and the net position is still above average and net positive. The net position has increased a little bit from around 68 something percent to over 70% now. And it's because although both the longs and the shorts have increased, the longs have increased a lot more than the shorts have. So that's why we're seeing the increase in the net position. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the price action. Obviously, this means that the asset managers are bullish. That means that we would expect higher prices. Now we have to confirm this bullishness with the price action. So right now what we're looking at, we'll go to a daily time frame. We have a new short-term level, as Ralph mentioned yesterday, which is right here. And what's happened is the previous short-term level was down around here, and price has been sitting on it throughout last week. We saw a move higher from there, and then now price is above the current weekly open, but we're below the short-term level. So if you're not a buyer yet, what I will be looking at, I will be looking for this short-term level to get broken before I start buying. And if I'm already in the market, if I was a buyer down here from last week and still holding on, I'll be paying very close attention to this entire zone right here from this daily supply. You can see how there's an overlap between that daily supply and the shorter term level. So I will be looking at this zone to get broken before I look for buy opportunities. Right now, let's go into a lower time frame, like a 4-hour. As you guys can see right now, we are below this daily open, but we are above the weekly open. So we're sitting right in this 4-hour range right here. And let's take a look at that range using our fibs right here. So you guys can see we are not yet at the discount of that range. The discount of that range, funny enough, lines up with the weekly open. So that is something that we should be paying very close attention to. Now, another fib that I wanted to show you guys is this one right here that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. We had mentioned how price was stalling at the -27, and then now we have finally reached our target right here, which was the -61 right here, and price has been stalling at this -61. So we're seeing a pullback, which kind of is expected once you reach those levels. And then now we want to see if price is going to be able to break out higher again. The COT is suggesting that we should see higher prices, but right now, based on the short-term level right here, we would expect some type of resistance around that area. Once it gets broken, then we'll be free to start looking for higher prices. So that's going to be it for Bitcoin, guys. Again, longer term bullish, but again, there's potential for short-term resistance with this short-term level right here. So I'll be careful unless this level gets broken. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for the Bitcoin part of this video. And now we're going to be going over Ethereum. So we'll start with the altcoins, and we'll do Ethereum, and then we will do CRV. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, guys, before we even jump into the individual coins, let's take a look at the overall altcoin market. So as you guys can see, the market as a whole has been pretty bullish the past couple months. We had about 3 weeks of down movement, and then overall it's been all up movement. Now, if we look at the altcoins against Bitcoin, so this is total 2 against Bitcoin, we can see that it's actually been going down, right? So this entire period right here, this 3-week period where the overall market went down, was kind of consolidative for altcoins against Bitcoin, and then finally altcoins had a massive dump against Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin was outperforming altcoins. So if I zoom in on this and we take a look at some of the levels that we had, so we expected some type of a bounce in this discount area. So on the weekly, we have swing low, swing high, discount. This is the discount zone right here. We expected some type of a bounce around that area. We had a couple levels marked, as you guys can see. One of them is this monthly demand right here, which currently is still being respected. We could draw the equilibrium price point of that monthly demand right here. That would be right around here. Boom. That's the equilibrium price point. And then we also had the daily right here. And that daily right here was this level right here that I marked out from the previous week. And as you guys can see, price has gone a little bit below that, so we can get rid of this level right here. We did not quite get into the lower one, but now we're seeing a move higher. Now, this orange line right here is about 2 weeks ago's open, because as we were bouncing off of this monthly demand, we were hitting the open right here. I said, that's good, but we had to break the opening price of that week. And as you guys can see, that never happened. If I go down into a daily time frame, you guys can see after the bounce, we came up, we tested the weekly open, and for that specific week, then we went down, we kept on going lower. And then now this week, you guys can see we tried to go lower, failed to do so. Well, that was last week. Tried to go lower, failed to do so. Came back up, and still that weekly open from 2 weeks ago was still holding. And then now this week we opened and we're testing that weekly open again. So that's definitely a very important level, and we're above this current week's open, but that weekly open from 2 weeks ago is still acting as major resistance. But overall, we can see that over the past couple of days or so, altcoins have been outperforming Bitcoin, which is why if you guys saw the post on Twitter, if you don't follow us on Twitter, make sure to go ahead and do so at Beyond the Huddle. Ralphie's always posting some charts and the coins that we might be interested in on Twitter all the time. So make sure you guys follow us there. And yeah, that's what we've been looking at, mostly altcoins, guys, because you can see altcoins have been outperforming Bitcoin. So that's what I'm seeing again right now. What we would expect is to wait and see what happens at this key important area right here. Are we going to break above that? If we do, then we would be looking for prices to go back towards the monthly open and the quarterly open. If not, we could see a move lower down into this area. And if that one happens, then we would see Bitcoin take off and outperform altcoins. Okay, so definitely at a key area right here. We'll just have to wait and see which way this breaks out. So with that said, guys, that's going to be it for the overall altcoin market. And then now let's go ahead and jump into the individual coins. All right, guys, right now we are looking at the ETHBTC chart. And since the last video, we had marked out a couple levels in the last video. We had this level here, that one, and that one. This level down here was our monthly demand right here. And then we went down into a daily time frame, and we were looking at individual daily demands right here. We had this nice level right here, and then we had this other level, and then this one lined up as well with a daily demand. So as you guys can see, and I think Ralphie posted that chart on Twitter as well once that level got hit and was started to get respected. So right now we saw price react off of this daily demand right here. We saw a nice reaction to the upside. Now let's go into a weekly and take a look at what happened. So once this level got hit, we were looking at the weekly open at the time. That was the weekly open at the time once this level got hit. And we were looking for prices to actually go back above that weekly open, and they did. And you guys can see that ever since then, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin. So now we're moving back towards the monthly and the quarterly open. So that's going to be an interesting area for us. So let's look at the quarterly candle. You guys can see that the quarterly candle right now, we're below the quarterly open, and we're still trading within the range of the previous quarter. We go into the monthly, and now we can see that the monthly has had a big wick down. So to get into our daily demand, we drop down into the weekly. This can be seen as some type of a weekly discount. So we would expect this week to then expand back to the upside and break above the quarterly and the monthly open. That's what I would expect. But again, in order for that to happen, we have to stay above this current week's open, which if we look at it on a 4-hour time frame, you guys can see that we're right around that weekly open. We're using the current day's open as support. So we want to see that get respected, and then we want to see price move up, maybe retest the weekly open, and then go up above the monthly, quarterly, maybe retest these, and then continue its way to the upside. So that's what I would expect on Ethereum BTC. Again, the key was for us to find some type of support near these areas, and we did find the support at this specific level. And that tells us that there's a potential for us to potentially be going higher. Now, if we look at this area right here with the monthly and the quarterly open, we can see that there is a daily supply that is sitting right there. So we can mark that out as an important level to pay attention to, a level of confluence with these opens right here. So I'll make this one red right there. So that's going to be an area for us to pay very close attention to, for us to know whether we're going to be whether Ethereum is going to be outperforming Bitcoin or not. So these are the three levels here. We have our weekly open, daily open, then we have the monthly and quarterly open. That's what we're going to be watching. But based on this weekly time frame, you would expect this week to actually start going higher. We can see the SMPDT open, move down within the range of the previous week, and then for price to start expanding to the upside. So with that said, guys, that's going to be it for the Ethereum BTC part of this video. Now let's go ahead and jump into the Ethereum USDT chart. All right, guys, right now we are looking at the Ethereum USD chart, and as you guys can see right here, price actually last week, after we spoke about it, actually went up, hit the all-time high, and then rejected right here. And then now this week we're sitting right above last week's close. If we drop down into our daily time frame, you guys can, so let's mark out last week's open actually, because that's actually very important. Last week's open right here, and we go down into our daily, we can see we are above this week's open. We can see that last week, after the rejection of the all-time high, we came down into a discount, but more importantly, into this daily demand right here. So if I get rid of this supply that was holding us as resistance here, get rid of it, and then we actually mark out this daily demand right here. You guys can see, make this blue. You guys can see that price used it as support, and then price has gone higher from there, which kind of shows you guys how this has been outperforming Bitcoin. So let's go down into a 4-hour time frame, and you guys can see right here, price went up above last week's open, and actually it pretty much failed to hit the all-time high when you look at it a little bit closer, and then price came down, and also lining up with that daily demand was also a 4-hour demand right here, and then price actually moved up from there. Right now we're sitting kind of like Bitcoin, right below the daily open, but also above the weekly open. So again, this is going to be the key level for us, this weekly open right here. If that were to give way, then we could expect potentially for prices to move lower. But if we stay above that weekly open, again, it's literally impossible for prices to be going down, staying above that weekly open. So if that happens, then we'd expect prices to maybe come down, bounce off of that weekly open, go up, use daily open as support, go higher, or we're already at this 4-hour demand right here. So that's a level that we'll be paying very close attention to right here, and prices could potentially be reversing off of that 4-hour demand. You guys can see right here, that's a little discount, swing low, swing high, price came down, that's a little discount, and we could potentially be going higher, but we'd have to break this daily open right here. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Looking at it on the higher time frames, you guys can see we are above the monthly, the quarterly. This week is still bullish, but again, we have this little potential of bearishness on Bitcoin, so we have to be very, very careful, especially since we are below that daily open. If I wanted to be a buyer, I'd probably wait for this daily open to get broken before I start looking for buying opportunities. So that's what I will be thinking on Ethereum. Now, obviously, if prices start to go higher, the first target will be to actually take out that all-time high, and then after that, we'd have to use some type of fib projections to kind of gauge where prices could be attracted to next. So that's going to be it for the Ethereum USD. Just a quick note though, if we start dropping lower, we would expect prices to potentially come down into this area that we had marked out last week, which price never actually went down into it. We instead went up, came back, retested this, and now trying to go up again. So if this were to give way right here and we start breaking down, this would be the area that we would be targeting around the 35 to 3600 area. So that's going to be it for the Ethereum part of this video. And now we're going to be taking a look at CRV, and I'll go over the CRVBTC cross first. All right, guys, this is going to be the CRV part of this video. This was requested by a subscriber, so we're going to be taking a look at that. So CRVBTC, looking at it from a monthly perspective, you guys remember we spoke about this monthly demand right here, that we had been sitting around this monthly demand for quite a while. And if prices were going to go higher, we wanted to see that monthly demand hold, and it definitely did hold. Going down into our weekly time frame, you guys will see right here that we had a target, which was the weekly supply right here, which at the time when we first started talking about it, we were around these prices, I think, and it was about a potential of a almost 250% move higher to that weekly supply. We definitely started this move higher right here, and if we look at it, this move was started off of this weekly discount. You guys can see right here, price came down 78.6, boom, starting to move higher. We're just hitting the negative 27 extension right here, so we could see some type of a retracement right here, and also around the negative 61.8 as well. So getting rid of this fib on the weekly time frame, let's go down into a daily time frame and take a look at what's going on. On the daily time frame, we can see we're above the monthly open, we're above the quarterly open, and if we look at the S&P/DT, you guys can see price open, trying to play around, made the move down, creating the bottom wick of the monthly and the quarterly candle, and now we're starting the expansion phase of that candle. And you guys can see this week alone, this price is up. Let's see, it is up 38.45% this week alone. Right now we are above the weekly open, so as long as that stays, we should be good for more upside on this coin. Now, one level to pay attention to is going to be this daily demand right here. Boom, that's a level that you would not want to see get broken, especially after such an expansion. You would not want to see one of the down candles before the expansion get broken. So that's one level to pay attention to, but mostly if we stay above that weekly open, we should be able to see continuation of higher prices. Yes, we could see a retracement down, but these levels should not get broken. And if you guys also remember, after that weekly supply right here, we had another target. If I zoom in a little bit more, you guys will see right here, we have this daily supply right here, which if we look at that one, that gives us an even bigger target on CRVBTC, gives us a target all the way up in about 340 something percent right here. So definitely big potential in this coin. That was the BTC cross. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the USDT cross, which I have a couple more levels to show you guys on that cross. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, guys, we are now looking at the CRVUSDT chart, and as you guys can see, I have a lot of lines on this chart. This is a weekly time frame. You guys can see that this week this thing's already up 41.1% on this week. We look at it on a quarterly, definitely bullish quarterly. We look at it on a monthly, bullish monthly candle. We then go down into the weekly, like we just saw, bullish weekly candle. Now let's go down into the daily and start breaking down these levels. So one of the levels that we had as a target was this daily supply right here. You guys can see that price is slammed into it, into the midpoint of it. This is the equilibrium price point of that daily supply. We saw a move down, which was a discount, because if you look at it, swing low, swing high, price came down, discount 61.8, and we saw support around that area, and price started to move higher. Now, as price started to move higher, we had another move higher here, came down into these two down candles right here. If I mark them out right here like this, boom, you guys can see price came down into that little zone right here, made a move higher, consolidated a little bit, and then finally took off and broke these daily supply levels. Now, one important thing right here is we are approaching a key resistance level right here, which is going to be this yellow box right here between between 535 and 550 is going to be a very important level for CRV. And as you guys can see, we are almost at that level right here. So this is a time to pay very close attention to what price is doing. Yes, we are above the weekly open. Again, we have a daily demand right there as well, just like on the BTC cross, which is going to be an important level. And one of our targets on CRV was the all-time high, because like I said, I did not take into account this wick right here from the original listing when it got listed on Binance. I'm not taking into account that wick, and I'm using this level right here as the all-time high. So that was one of our targets. But then when you look at it on a daily time frame, I also had a level right here, which is $9.24. So if we break this quote unquote all-time high, because it really isn't the all-time high, if we break this level, which is 594, the next target for us would be the $9.24. Okay, so these are the two important levels that I see on CRV. I think the subscriber data asked for the CRV breakdown was actually in CRV. So if you're in CRV, my friend, congrats to you. This has been taking off pretty nicely. It's been one of the top performers the past couple of days. So definitely congrats for getting in on that move. So I think that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be it for today with the altcoins. It's been a pretty long video. We went over a lot of stuff today. Hope you guys got a lot of value from this. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And if you're not following us on Twitter, make sure to do so at BeyondTheHuddle. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.